dive in because we got a lot of news today. Okay, so let's start out with Kohl's, which is a Wisconsin company, and they're acquiring the At Home Group, which is fine with me. My son works at Kohl's and loves it. So anyway, Kohl's is expanding and feels that their home decor and furniture will complement the overall package of Kohl's. The question to me will be whether they rebrand At Home Group or they to Kohl's at Home, which I think makes the most sense, or they go kind of leave it alone, and we'll see. And there's two schools of thought, and they both have merit. Levi's, when they went to Dockers, made a huge new brand that was totally different. So sometimes it's better to have a different brand. Whereas Lee Jeans sells khakis, but you don't think of them as Dockers. Okay, so that's the way it is. You can decide for yourself on that one. Okay, future of meat. Interesting. The battle for future of meat. And I'm a big fan of Impossible Burgers, and now Burger King is offering them at like 4 locations, which is, come on, let's go all in on this. Let's give me an alternative. Now, granted, it's not Lent, so I'm not as worried about it, but we're coming up on the Domitian fast. I would like to see Impossible Foods make the burgers available, direct or something, because they're really good. So far, you can only get them at different restaurant chains. It's still good, but one of the problems with Impossible Meats is they're causing a backlash among vegans. And one is that when you sell your burger in the context of real meat, of animal meat, then you perpetuate the animal meat abuses. That's one problem. The biggest problem is, though, this is not the biggest problem. The biggest problem is, except for one time when I had a medium rare Impossible Burger and you could not tell it from a good hamburger, except for the very first time, every other Impossible Burger that I've ordered or someone at the table has ordered at my encouragement, no matter what I said to the waitress, they overcooked them to the point of being almost inedible. Why? Well, we complained to the manager at one place, and he said, the owners make us cook them this way because vegans come in and we serve them the medium rare, and they swear it's real meat, and they won't eat it, and they won't pay for it, and they storm out. We've had so many complaints of the artificial meat being real meat that we mixed up that we're now not able to serve it looking like meat because it's too good. There's the have your meat and eat it too problem. And on that note, I don't even know what to say about this exactly, but the Me Too movement in some ways weaponized women in the relationship process, and some of us in our lives sort of figured that out early. When you watch someone's confirmation hearing and they're bringing up stuff they supposedly did in high school and are accused on that basis, and you start saying, maybe we should caution our sons, which I did, about sowing many wild oats. Maybe you start thinking. My wife, I told her about this article. She said, maybe the Orthodox Jews have it right, which mainly is you can't be together until you're married in a private place, or Mike Pence, who said, I'm never alone privately with a woman. But one of the unforeseen consequences of this weaponization is that, and I'm not going to, whether it's right or wrong about what Me Too sought to achieve, one of the things they are achieving is men in senior positions are 12 times more reluctant to engage with junior level women. A serious stumbling block for women advancing their careers. Now, isn't that interesting? As far as It's like the future of meat. You try to do one thing and somebody else, and that's one of the challenges. Okay, on that note, GDPR. Are consumers convinced? No, not really. Neither agree or disagree is the biggest category in asking. My experience with companies using my data has improved. Now, you got to understand that the whole point of GDPR is that it's a kind of a shadowy thing, what people do with your data. I'm always interested in, like I was on Sports Illustrated last week. No, not Sports Illustrated, ESPN. And up came this cute dress. So I called my wife over and said, you look really great in this. She says, what are you doing looking at cute dresses? I said, I'm not. I'm on ESPN. I don't know why they put it up there. I have no idea. She says, you're always on weird sites. And part of that is my job here, to bring you unusual news. But I don't know where they got that from. And I just thought it was, she might like it. Anyway, so what people are doing, you've got, what are they doing? Do they even know what they're doing? Not really. Are their algorithms effective? No. Are they comparing it with solid offers? No. They don't do A/Bs on a solid offer versus a personalized offer. And that is the real problem. The problems are the methodology itself is poorly done. And no one knows what they're offering to anybody. I wrote to a company and they offered me, I bought some whiskey glasses and they offered me a bug vacuum. And I said, I don't know how you figured that out. And I know people at the place. So they wrote to the email algorithm place and they said, he must have, I can't even say this with a straight face. He must have browsed the site and looked at bug vacuums. What? Okay, never mind. Anyway, in the past year, marketing emails have been more relevant. Neither agree or disagree. No, and part of it is that I get emails from all over the place, from every corner of the world, and for all kinds of goofy reasons. And I've given up trying to figure out what and to stop the flow. I'm sending out a blast about my speech up in Minneapolis next week, and I'll get people writing back. I'm unsubscribing to everything. Yeah, okay. See how that works. This doesn't work. Plus, you miss great information. Anyway, so the bottom line on GDPR is consumers can't tell. Okay, they can't tell. So it's going to be tough to make this. GDPR is sort of a feel good. Oh, I'm happy now that my government is protecting my privacy, though nothing seems to have changed at all, and that's exactly right. So anyway, on that, here's a good one. I really like this one. Vanity Fair put their full archive up, and it started in 1913, and you can really get a feel for culture and the cultural change. And so I encourage you to go in there and see things like the role of male and female, or men and women, or see the perception of meat. Go and look up meat in Vanity Fair. But whatever you want to do, poet A.A. Milne is on there, P.G. Wodehouse, which is one of my very, very favorites, and all sorts of people have published in Vanity Fair, and there's more than 700 issues. So I encourage you to visit that and get a taste for culture in times not your own. Always a good thing. Okay. Lastly, here was an article in Ad Age India. Got to squish that down a little bit, and it was about how customer experience could have saved the French Bulldog. Could customer experience have saved the French Bulldog? I was hoping that we were going to hit an alternate universe where the French Bulldog lived, but no. What it basically said was companies need to pay attention to customer experience. Here's the problem. They mentioned United Airlines dragging a guy off and it getting on social media, and a bulldog dying in the overhead compartment, and that getting all over social media, and United not really doing anything about it. Guess what? United's profits are way up. Way up. Last year they were way, way up. Why? Because you can't fly places without an airline, or an airplane at least. And so, no matter how much Annika complains about that, you know, they pretty much got you. And one is about the same as another. I find no brand perception, except I got the Explorer card, and now I can buy the economy ticket, which is like $185 to go round trip to anywhere in the continental United States, San Francisco or LA or whatever. Really, really dirt cheap. And I can board early and get in the overhead compartment, even though those guys aren't allowed to even have a bag like that. So it works out for me. I love them. Then she mentions Taco Bell and how they offer coupons and you can't redeem them, and they want your credit card in order to get the free coupon. And a great point. The great point is, in airlines, I want to get there, and as long as they get me there, if somebody's bulldog dies on the way, as long as they get it off, at the stop, you know, it's so much of customer experience is customers don't want an experience. They want to get their oil changed or their tires rotated or whatever it is they have to deal with today. And just, let me deal with it and let's get on with it, right? Oops, this is still too wide. Sorry, I'm clicking it off. I have more trouble with Ad Age than any other publication trying to fit them on this show. Anyway, so then she mentions Nike as a great example where Nike's trying to get a scan of the shoes, which is nice, but I do know my shoe size. So it doesn't help me that much. I'm not going to scan my shoes to buy Nike. That's fine if you do. That's okay. But it hasn't come out yet. We'll see. And like most customer experience articles, there's no real example of a win where we're focused on customer experience, improve customer experience. Contrast that with Amazon, who's now moving to one-day delivery standard. They're spending millions, like $1 billion, to try to get one more day shaved off their Prime membership. That's value for customers. That's real value. I'm not talking about, not talking about what wine I like when I get to the gate. Just get me to the destination. I'm John Miglosh. Have a great day.